enforcement has been pressed for years to be more forthcoming with information in the case and has just released a major piece of evidence. Senior correspondent Laura Engel, host of the Fox Nation series and podcast Grim Tide, Hunting the Long Island Serial Killer, has the very latest. And we have to warn you, the story comes with some images that are graphic in nature. Good evening, Laura.
The families of these victims, attorneys, the press, and members of the public have been wanting to hear the 911 calls made the day an escort disappeared for years. They have been kept under wraps all this time by law enforcement who claimed their release could impede their investigation. Until now.
Hey, police. Yeah, they told me after me.
This is the voice of Shannon Gilbert, a young escort who disappeared in May of 2010 from New York's Long Island. In this newly released audio, we hear for the first time the 911 call Gilbert placed on the night she vanished.
What's your name? Shannon Gilbert. What happened? These people are trying to kill me.
And the chilling words, released nearly 11 years to the day after Gilbert's disappearance, are raising more questions than answers. In the pre-dawn hours of May 1st, 2010, Gilbert, a 24-year-old sex worker, disappeared into the night after running from the home of a client in Oak Beach, New York, a quiet, gated community on the edge of Long Island's Great South Bay. She was never seen alive again. The subsequent search for Gilbert led to the discovery of 4 sets of female human remains at nearby Gilgo Beach in December of 2010. The women, all sex workers in their 20s who advertised their services on Craigslist, were the victims of a suspected serial killer. Gilbert's skeletal remains were eventually found in December of 2011, her body lying face up in a marsh not far from the home of Joseph Brewer, the client whom she visited that night.
The clothes were found first, and then several days later, her remains were found further away.
And then a startling announcement. Authorities theorized Gilbert drowned in the marsh where she was found. For more than a decade, however, that drowning theory has been called into question. Gilbert placed a 22-minute 911 call on the night she disappeared, telling a dispatcher her life was in danger. For years, Suffolk County authorities refused to release the audio of these 911 calls, claiming it would compromise an ongoing investigation. And then on May 13th of this year, police changed course.
We have made the determination that releasing the Shannon Gilbert 911 call will not hinder this investigation. The prevailing opinion in Shannon's death, while tragic, was not a murder. We believe it's a tragic accident.
Not everyone agrees.
I think that Shannon Gilbert was murdered. The evidence of that fact is overwhelming.
John Ray, the longtime attorney for the Gilbert family, will not waver from his belief.
The police department have covered that up for all of these years, and there's no question of that anymore.
Ray's theory is supported by an independent autopsy of Gilbert that was conducted in 2015 by renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bodden. In the autopsy, shot exclusively by Fox News Channel, Bodden found roughness on one side of the hyoid bone, the hallmark sign of a strangulation.
If there is a fracture, that would indicate she was strangled, manually strangled.
While Ray and authorities continue to spar over Gilbert's cause of death, an even bigger question remains. Will the release of these 911 calls bring investigators any closer to identifying the Long Island serial killer or killers? Shannon?
Laura, thank you very much. She's got much more on the hunt for the Long Island serial killer in Grim Tide, a 5-part series examining the unsolved murder mystery. All episodes now available on Fox Nation. Coming up, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Archbishop back home in San Francisco says she cannot take communion because of her continued fight to expand abortion access. Well,